Hanging with Tees. Here we go. Week number 3. And like always, when I say a time that we're going to be on, you can pretty much count on anywhere from 7 to 30 minutes past that. But here we are. I am, of course, your host, Dees. With me, my buddy Bubba J over there with his brand spanking new Cowboys background, which is disgusting. Hey, props to you, though, for after that showing last week. Still having the testicular fortitude to throw that up behind you as opposed to, I don't know, a Barbie playset or.
I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow, but we've swallowed it for 30 something years.
Yeah.
And, I don't care.
As I was watching the score climb, I thought about texting you. I'm like, you know what? He's having a bad enough day.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just go ahead and let this one slide. So yeah, we will real quick just kind of rehash what we saw in week 2, and then of course get into the top stories of the week and our week 3 predictions. Leading it off, obviously we're going to go with my Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, real quick, our picks. Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, we weren't the only ones. If you watch any shows or follow Vegas, or I mean, everybody pretty much lost their ass. Safe to say that there are a lot of the eliminator pools got smoked this week.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, God, just going down the list, we can start with the Cowboys. Not quite the shocker that some of the other games are, but I think probably most of the country predicted the Cowboys, especially after how good the Cowboys looked in week 1. Lions losing to the Bucks at home. Again, not a huge shocker, more so that the Lions got 4.5 sacks out of Aiden Hutchinson, pulled off a fake punt,
right,
and still lost. Colts dropping to Malik Willis and the Packers after the Packers rushed for, I don't even remember how many yards, but it was absolutely ridiculous. I might consider changing my tune on this Anthony Richardson thing because he did not look good. When he has moments, so I'm not completely giving up hope on him, but then there are times where you're like, what are you doing in the NFL?
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's still pretty green. I mean, this what year? It's essentially his rookie year.
Yeah, which is why, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
When the knee injury, he wasn't able to do much at all. So this is pretty much his first full training camp, first full preseason, first full season. So,
yeah. Jets bouncing back against the Titans. That really didn't surprise too many people, I don't think. The big, in my opinion, the probably the biggest surprise for me was the Ravens Raiders, but Minnesota, which you picked.
Yep.
Hats off to you. Handling the 49ers the way that they did. I mean, the score shows that much closer than that, but I actually watched a lot of that game and it really didn't feel like it was that close.
No, and they got some garbage time points. So, I mean, it was closer than the game actually was. Minnesota controlled the game, from start to finish. I was surprised about the Seattle New England game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you picked Seattle.
Yep.
I picked New England with the whole West Coast, East Coast thing.
Right.
But Seattle was able to hang on, and the Patriots offensive line, I think they lost 2 starters in that game, which showed last night against the Jets, because the Jets got them for, I think, 7 sacks.
It was terrible.
The Giants, all-time boneheaded move. Going into the game that your kicker is hurt, but you think he's going to make it, so you don't bring a kicker up. And he blows his hammy out literally on the opening kickoff, so they have no kicker and could not attempt an extra point. They actually scored 3 touchdowns couldn't kick an extra point. Meanwhile, Washington scored 0 touchdowns and got 7 field goals, including the game winner, to pull off the win there. Chargers doing pretty much what we expected to the Panthers. I think the only surprise of that game was I honestly thought it might be worse. Big story coming out of that game, though, Justin Herbert tweaking his ankle, currently listed as questionable, but he's kind of got that old school mentality. I don't think there's any way that he misses that game.
No, he's just mind games. I think he's just fine.
Yeah, Browns kind of surprised me, bouncing back the way they did against Jacksonville in Jacksonville, getting the win there. And then, like I said, the Raiders coming back from 10 down, I believe, in the fourth quarter and getting the big win over Baltimore in Baltimore on a field goal with like 30 seconds left. As a Steeler fan, I'm fucking love it. I'm here for it. Love to see it. Baltimore 0-2. Another giant to me shock was the way that the Cardinals annihilated the Rams.
Yeah, that should have been a blowout. There's no way. That was a 50-50 toss-up game for me. And they made me eat my words for that, for sure.
Yeah. And people wanted to, get Marvin Harrison the ball. Oh, well, okay. How about 2 tuds in the first quarter for you?
Right.
He finished with 4 catches, $130, 2 touchdowns, 41-10. Cardinals just smoked the Rams. Rams also lost Cooper Kupp, who's probably going to be out for multiple weeks, they're saying.
Yep.
Then, of course, Steelers, Broncos, which I'll get to in a second. Bengals, Chiefs. Chiefs didn't look good at all. I don't remember what the exact statistic was, but it had something to do with like a team that didn't reach 300 and something yards offense. Third down percentage was bad. Turnovers, blah, blah, blah. Like they literally, no team in the history of the NFL won a game when they had those stats.
Right.
Until this week. Say what you want about the refs and everything. I don't know about the whole game. I'm just speaking on what we saw on that last fourth down heave. That's pass interference. That is textbook pass interference. You can say late flag all you want, but if you watch the replay, it really wasn't all that late because you see the collision happen and you can see the ref. And as the camera pans away from the ref, you see the ref reaching down. And then whoever the announcer was like, no flag. And then all of a sudden the flag comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So he was reaching for the flag. You just didn't see him. And it took him a while. I don't know if it was tucked under a nut or what, but he was definitely reaching for a flag. And it was pass interference all day. I can't speak on the rest of the whatever questionable calls because honestly, I didn't see it. Wouldn't be surprised because we have seen the Chiefs benefit from a lot of shit here over the last few years. But again, wearing the colors that I wear, seeing the Bengals start off 0-2, I'm all for it.
Bears, they lost Pacheco in that game too.
Yeah, which kills 2 of my fantasy teams.
Yeah.
One of them, one league, I did manage to sneak in there and get Hunt. The other league where I had Pacheco, though, I wasn't able to grab him because some worthless fucking prick with a Dallas Cowboy background snagged him literally within, I don't know, fucking 40 seconds of him signing the goddamn contract. I immediately jumped on Yahoo to grab him. And I see this cocksucker right here had already picked him up, and you don't even fucking need him.
That's exactly why I picked him up.
Oh,
none of you fucks
so
can get him either.
Anyway, Bears did what the Bears do and expected to do, which is lose. Caleb Williams still looks like he's not it, although it was a little bit better. But they do drop to the Texans. Bears defense, I think they're for real. Unfortunately, their offense is absolute dog shit. It's with Caleb struggling. Keenan Allen was out and looks like he's going to be out this week as well. And then another big shock to me No, I wouldn't call it a big shock. More so the way that it ended would be the Falcons coming back. You know, Kirk Cousins notoriously doesn't play well in primetime games.
Right.
And he had a hell of a bounce back, and that drive
Yeah,
was
I
real
think they
nice.
look fine. I think they look fine.
Yep. So the Eagles dropped that. So anyway, and we'll get to your Cowboys in a minute, but let's start with my Steelers. Yeah, I would love to see more points on the board, no question. But like I've been saying, that defense is going to be a fucking problem, no matter who they face, as long as they stay healthy as a unit. I know it was a rookie quarterback or whatever, but they fly all over to the ball. The improvement in the run defense has been huge. That's going to be tested in a big way this week coming up. But I like what I'm seeing. Justin Fields, another great performance as far as not making the big mistakes. And he made a couple of excellent throws. The one on the run through a 50-yard rope to George Pickens. Of course, it's called back for a hold.
Yeah.
And then
That's how
that's
it usually goes.
He had a touchdown pass to George Pickens and what they called a pick play. And Gene Steratore, the former NFL head of officiating on the broadcast, basically said that that's not a penalty, but they called it, took the TD off the board. So again, we did get a touchdown pass from Fields to the big tight end, Darnell Washington, which was our first offensive touchdown of the year. And then a couple of Boz field goals. Other than the one breakdown, which was on the trick play, and we subsequently then picked him off in the end zone, Bo Nix was nothing. Like, we literally shut him down. They had the one, like I said, trick play on the little reverse flea flicker deal. Other than that, they really didn't prove to be much of a threat. And again, you take away the stupid boneheaded penalties, and the stat line for Justin Fields is going to end up looking a lot better than it did. So going forward, I know Tomlin hasn't officially said it, but I think he's feeling it. For me, we're riding this Fields train all the way, unless he just absolutely implodes. I don't care how healthy Russell Wilson gets right now, until Justin Fields shows us that he is not an NFL caliber quarterback. That's who you stick with. What he provides in terms of getting out of the pocket and making moves with his feet. He made one scramble for 16 yards and a first down that there aren't too many quarterbacks outside of Justin Fields, not named Lamar, that is going to make that play, because the guy had him dead to rights in a dead sprint, and he was able to run away from him, turn the corner, and picked up a big 16-yard gain there. And that was the drive subsequently that led to the touchdown. So, yeah, unless he gets hurt or just absolutely implodes, we've got the best backup quarterback in the NFL in Russell Wilson.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't get to see that game. I did watch a couple of highlights. I snagged Pickens out from underneath you before the draft.
Yes, literally the pick before. Yeah, so you are the fucking bane of my existence this year in fantasy football.
I got to trade for you if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it. In which way would you prefer to fuck me this time?
I wouldn't do it twice, not live on TV. But I would go Pickens and Hunt, since you want him so bad, for now it's not pulling up. Go away. For Diggs and Higgins.
Oh. No, I can't do it. Because let me sit on that one for a week. Keep that. Let me sit on that for a week, because
there's just names out. There's names out there. We can stir the soup some.
Because I think once Higgins gets healthy, which I believe he returned to practice. I mean, I'm
Yeah, he's
just
not
looking at-
playing this week. I do expect to see him week 4.
I mean, the overall production of those two is gonna be pretty high. Yeah, it's as homer as I am, that would be a tough one to justify. But
I mean, there's names out there, but I mean, you got Ayuk, you got Godwin.
I am sitting pretty good with receivers.
You are.
It's running backs that I'm fucking hurting in.
Yep. And Hunt, is going to take over the number 1. He's been there before. He knows Andy Reid's system.
Yeah, they did say he's not going to play this week.
No.
So,
but,
yeah,
I got decent. I got Madison for the Ravens, Raiders. I got Joe Mixon, Ford, NTN. And then I went and got Hunt so no one else could.
Yeah, but I think Ford is going to be. I mean, he's still going to be productive, but I think once they activate Chubb,
oh yeah,
he's going to go back to less than probably 10 touches a game, maybe even less than that. But yeah, we'll chew on it a little bit, see what pops up there. But anyway, yeah, like I said, going forward, as far as I'm concerned, this is Justin's team, Justin's job to lose. Now, as for your Cowboys for equal time, did you watch it? Like, what the fuck happened? I just kept
I
didn't
get to watch it. I had a fishing tournament that day. So that was where my focus was, but I kept getting updates from my fantasy teams and from my sports apps, big pass, touchdown, like, okay, we're doing all right. And when I got done and pulled it up, I'm like, what in the fuck happened? I was like, okay, had a couple of touchdowns. We throwing the ball a lot because I was getting notifications. I expected it to be close. I really didn't know if it was going to be a win or a loss. New Orleans was at home. I was like, maybe. But 44-19.
14 consecutive possessions.
Crazy. 14 drives with points consecutive. And we had
Derek fucking Carr
and Alvin Kamara.
I mean, we knew Kamara was a dog,
Yeah, but Carr went 11 for 16, 243, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Those aren't.
Oh, that was his whole line?
That was his line. 11 for 16, 243, 2 touches and a pick.
I didn't even look at that. I'm thinking he's
Alvin Kamara on the ground, 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Whew.
Through the air, he went 2 for 65 with a touchdown.
I got to admit, I fucking love the Derek Carr Selly.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
And they fined him today, $14,000.
Worth every penny.
I would pay twice that.
That was, I mean, it was textbook. Here you got the high kick, the knee shake. Yeah. Absolutely loved it.
It was awesome. It's just when your number 1 and number 2 receiver go almost 100 yards each on 4 catches each. Your running back rushes for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Your defense lets up 190 total rushing yards, 242 total passing yards. They had one pick, which ain't bad. We gave up 2. We gave up 3 sacks. Penalties were even. Time of possession was even literally within a minute of each other.
That was in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
So you opened 2 games on the road, just like.
No, I don't. No, we were home. We were home this time.
Ooh.
Yeah. We got embarrassed at AT&T.
Ouch.
But I mean, you just look at the stat line without watching the game at all. They had us by 80 yards passing. We had them, or by total yards. We had them by 40 yards passing. They had us by 130 yards rushing, which just tells me right there the defense was terrible. No fumbles. We each had a pick. We had 2. They had 1. We gave up 3 sacks. We got 1. Third down efficiency was terrible. The defense just didn't show up. Not at all. Not one bit. And the only reason we have any points is because Dak went nuts. He was playing from behind. He went 27 out of 39, 293 and a touchdown.
Yeah, as somebody who owns Chris Olave in a league, I was happy to see him get more involved after week one. I think he was only targeted one time, maybe two. Right. And with a new quarterback coming in, sometimes you kind of wonder about the chemistry, but it looks like, he's figured it out as far as
him and that Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, who the fuck is this guy? He's lighting it up.
Yeah, he was good last year. He had some good, some flares like this. But when you got a guy like Derek Carr who loves to throw the ball, especially when your running game is working, you can run out of play action, you can run out of a boot. He'll throw it to anybody. Just get open. He loves to throw the ball. So if you got any Saints receivers on your waiver wire, which would be pretty hard right now.
Well, he only threw to 5 guys.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, Rodgers threw to 8 guys last night before halftime.
Yeah.
And Conklin had a hell of a game. And I know for a fact Conklin's probably on every single waiver wire. And we know
I never heard of the fucking guy until last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around a while. But we all know that Rodgers loves his tight ends.
Yeah. So he's had some good ones. So I mean, why wouldn't he go to him?
Yeah, I mean, he made Musgrave look like a number 1 tight end last year, or not last year, year before. It was last year in Green Bay.
The other Rodgers that he had a few years back.
Rodgers to Rodgers. Yep.
So was glad to see him, finally kind of have his coming out game. Like you could tell that because he looked okay against Tennessee, but not great. Like,
right.
They got the job done. But last night we finally saw that he truly still has it, against a pretty good New England defense. And he got helped out by the Jets defense and the fact that New England's offensive line is in absolute shambles.
Right.
But when he was out there, man, the zip on the ball is still there. He can still get outside the pocket.
Yeah. Which I was surprised at how many times he scrambled.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch if it was intentional, if it was drawn up that way, or if it was, offensive line still needs a little help.
Yeah.
But I just didn't expect him to be out the pocket that much.
Yeah, there were a couple. I didn't watch the whole game, but there were a couple where I saw that he was forced out of the pocket in that the vintage A-Rod's
right.
roll out right. And I mean, the old man still got a little juice in the legs, so I'm happy to see it.
The oldest player in the league playing with the youngest player in the league, and they're on the same team, throwing and running the ball with each other.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yep. Nope. I was real happy to see that. So yeah, at the end of the week, Bubba takes the 2-game edge by going 9-7, and I went 7-9. It's a rough one.
Yeah.
Before we get into the week 3 stuff, switching gears, did you fucking see what Shohei Ohtani did the other night?
To yesterday, right?
I believe, maybe it was yesterday.
He went 6 for 6, 2 stolen bases. He had
2 home runs, 10 RBIs.
Yep.
And became the first player in Major League history to join the 50-50 club. That's 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases in a single season.
Yep. Yeah, we're watching history. I mean, anybody that says, he's just overhyped, no, this is history. No one can do what he's doing. No one has done what he's doing.
He's the fucking greatest baseball player to ever live.
So far.
I mean,
now, I mean, you got the whole conversation with, steroids or PEDs of some sort,
Well, until that happens,
kind of stuff, right? That of course, we saw it with McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, all them. Everybody was living high. Oh my God, this is the best thing you ever seen in baseball. And then the air was let out of everybody's lungs when, oh well, here's a bombshell.
But
Dr. Numbnuts comes out and exposes everybody and says, keep his mouth shut and letting us enjoy baseball.
And here's the kicker. He's still going to come back and be a dominant starting pitcher when he's, the only reason he ain't throwing is because he had fucking Tommy John.
Right. And he's doing all that coming off of surgery.
Yeah. Like he's still going to be an ace pitcher when he comes back. Like,
100%. And he's still going to be DH.
Yeah. And he's absolutely crushing baseballs.
Yeah. And he's going to make almost $1 billion before he retires.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I realize he doesn't speak English very well. He speaks a little bit, but he's a likable guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. He
seems
seems like
he's just there to play ball.
Yeah.
Like he's no extra, no bullshit. Just give me a bat, give me a ball, leave me alone.
I mean, again, I'm not a huge baseball guy, but it's hard not to acknowledge what we're seeing with this guy.
I hate that it's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But good for them if they're having the money and going and getting a guy like that. In the day and age where you pay to win championships.
I hate it even more for the simple fact that he was actually like the Cubs were in the fucking conversation for getting him.
Yep.
And obviously he chooses LA and probably a smart move for him, but talk about fucking generational talent. Like just blown away by that. Absolutely blown away. Okay, back to the NFL. I guess we just kind of go through the stories as we come upon the games. So let's just jump right into that, and any of the side stories that pop out, we will talk about. Obviously, I already covered last night. We both text each other. We both were on the Jets, so we at least start off with a win. Patriots might be in a little bit of trouble if they don't find a way to shore up that offensive line quickly. Jacoby Brissett ended up getting pulled. Was he pulled or hurt?
I don't know. I turned it off. I turned the game off about 9:30, 9:45. It was 21-3 or getting ready to be 24-3. Going, most of the way through the fourth quarter, and I just turned it off, went to bed.
I think he just got pulled, and they wanted.
He was still in a play or two before I turned it off. So,
because I know they already basically said that Jacoby is still the starter, so I don't think he got hurt. I think they just put May in
and May is going to be their future, so I understand why they're keeping him out and letting.
Not if they keep putting him in behind that offensive line because.
Oh no, they got work to do for sure.
The clip I saw, it was either the first or second play that he was in the game, just got absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, just smoked.
Yeah.
So,
well, like we said earlier, you got some big key injuries on that offensive line. You definitely still need help with draft or free agency or trade, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have a lot of trade capital.
Did you read what happened with Chuks Okorafor?
Who?
Chuks Okorafor. He's a right tackle. He was actually the Steelers' starting tackle for a few years, and we let him go in free agency, and New England signed him under the intention of him being the starting tackle. And as he got beat out for the job, he basically just stopped coming to practice. So they cut him. They put him on the exempt list, and then they cut him. So yeah, their offensive line is an absolute shambles.
Wow.
Which is not good if you're a Ramondre Stevenson fantasy owner, because I mean, this is a very talented back who has developed over these last few years into what I would say one of the elite backs. Like he literally,
look at the numbers he's putting up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the numbers he's putting up with a balloon wall in front of him. I mean, you put him behind a couple guys that can block, and he's top 5 RB all day long.
Yeah. And I don't know how long those guys, the two starters that they dropped last night, I don't know how long they're going to be out, but they need to address that here quick, fast, and in a hurry, because they're going to get Jacoby Brissett and or Drake May killed.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jets, yeah, pull out the big win there. So let's move on into our picks and talk about the teams as we go. We got the Giants traveling to Cleveland, taking on the Browns. As much as I would love to see Daniel Jones finally fucking put it together and get a win here over the Browns, don't see it happening, not in Cleveland.
No.
Still waiting on this Deshaun Watson news. What's going to come out of it, if anything? I know that the NFL requested a meeting with the lawyer that apparently has this evidence implicating Deshaun Watson in some more deviant shit.
Right.
Probably, I don't think it's quite Diddy level deviant, but
yeah. Like you said, there's. I'm loving where the Giants are at right now. I absolutely love it. They can stay there and they can live there. But you're not going into Cleveland with that team, with that offensive line, with that quarterback, and beating even a roughed up, not sure what the hell's going on Cleveland team. Their defense is good enough. Their offense is good enough. It ain't going to happen.
At this point, the only real question about the Giants is who are they going to draft? Is it going to be Shedeur or is it going to be Ewers?
No, who knows?
That's so yeah, it's safe to say we're both on Cleveland.
Yep.
Even though I think it's going to be a competitive game because I'm not really impressed with either team. But yeah, I think Cleveland probably wins that one in like the 20-10 range, somewhere in there.
Right.
Moving on. Let's see. Go ahead and put this in. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. We know Jordan Love is listed as questionable. We kind of talked about this before we went live. I don't see any chance that Jordan Love plays this game.
No, for sure not going to play. We talked about this before we went live. 2 weeks after a major MCL sprain, which we all thought it was torn or worse.
Yeah.
No way.
And then we've got the interesting side story of Malik Willis coming back to Tennessee literally, 3.5 weeks after he was traded.
Yep.
So we got the Malik Willis revenge game, although he's got nothing bad to say about Tennessee.
Nope.
I expect that Tennessee's got a little bit better defense, though, I think, than the Colts do. So I think that he's going to have to throw the ball more than 10 times. And I don't expect Green Bay to have as much success running the ball as they had. That all being said, at this point right now, regardless of the gaudy numbers that he put up last week, as far as 319 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, he also threw 3 picks, or has thrown 3 picks. Can't trust him.
No.
Did you see the clip after that ridiculous backwards pass when he's walking over to Callahan and Callahan's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And then the puke ball.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't you throw that pass?
What the fuck are you doing? You just clear as day screaming at Malik, what the fuck are you doing? And he goes, 71 puked on the ball. He puked on the ball.
Did you see the clip where it fucking just projectile, just looked like spray?
I can't throw a ball with puke on it. Could you imagine catching that ball?
Oh, I'd be pissed. Yeah. What the fuck, man? Why are you throwing me that pass?
Your whole offense is now sick, listed as questionable due to illness.
That's nuts.
We're just not even going to make the trip, guys. Sorry.
But yeah, I still, until Levis shows me that, and I kind of get it in that, like, the best way I could describe it is basically what Pat McAfee was talking about, in that he reminds him of Carson Wentz. he just wants to make a play so bad that
Yeah.
he just goes brain dead and does dumb shit the way Wentz used to.
Yeah, but Wentz won a Super Bowl.
True.
I
Well,
don't see Malik Willis winning a Super Bowl.
did Wentz win it as a starter?
He
Oh yeah,
went-
yeah. He
for
did.
Philly when what's his face went down in the
Yeah.
playoffs, took him
Yeah.
all the way to a championship. Fuck turd.
Yeah, give me the Packers here.
I'm taking Tennessee.
Oh.
That, like you said, the running game is not going to be like it was. You know, you can talk about the revenge game all you want, but there's no bad blood there. You know, Midwest to Midwest, nobody's traveling super far, and it's an afternoon. Yeah, no, give me Tennessee.
All righty. Moving on, we got the Chicago Bears taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. I believe Indy is a 1-point favorite. Whew.
Yeah, I went with the home team here. I'm going to take the Colts, get them a win, 1-2, both teams at the end of the day. The Colts are 1-point favorites. Yep. And, you know, the defense for Chicago is really good. The Colts defense so far is not good at all.
Josh Downs is supposed to be back up
Yep.
for the Colts, so that'll help
And-
them in the passing game.
Yep. And Rome Odunze is supposed to be back after a little banged up in week one.
Keenan Allen still out for
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yep, he's out again. But you know, Caleb just hasn't looked like an NFL quarterback. Again, you know, do the Bears strike out? It's only week 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's still way too early to call that.
I mean, as a guy that, you know, we both live around Bears fans, they're everywhere. I love it when they shit the bed and they're terrible.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Brings-
Christmas presents every year.
Brings me great joy.
I love it. It's great. But at the same time, as a football fan, you hate seeing the same team struggle and struggle and struggle no matter what they do. They replace coaches, replace GMs, replace quarterbacks, replace this, and they have the weapons to win games. Their defense is phenomenal. I think they're rated number 8 right now.
Yeah.
That's great. You know, you have arguably one of the best receiver cores in the game as a collective. You put those 3 on any other team, you put them on Joe Burrow's team, you give them to Levis down there in Tennessee. Give them to Derek Carr. I'll take them. I'll take DJ Moore and Odunze at Dallas.
Tennessee's got a pretty solid receiver core.
They do, for sure. But I'm just saying.
Ridley, Board, and D-Hop.
Yeah, when you have a quarterback that is a quarterback and not some hype man who wants to own half your team, there's no reason you can't win games there. You got, you know, Swift in the backfield, who's a hell of a running back. You got the defense to keep you in games, keep it close. You score 21 points a game, you will probably win.
I agree. But I think I'm going to go with you. I mean, I'm not jumping off the Anthony Richardson train yet. I think this is the week he puts it together. It's going to be obviously a tight game.
Yeah, they won. Colts won last year without AR-15, 24-17.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts here with you as well. Probably like a 17-14, 17-13 type game.
Yeah. I think it's 23-21, 23-17, something like that.
I think it's going to come down to which quarterback makes the least amount of mistakes.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah, okay, both of us on the Colts for that one. Then we go to the Texans taking on the somewhat surprising Minnesota Vikings. And I say surprising because Sam Darnold's apparently a decent quarterback.
Sam Darnold is a very good quarterback. I wouldn't say he ain't great. He ain't, generational talent. But I've said it last year too. We were talking about, good backups that were just sitting there available for people to pick up, like Pittsburgh and like,
I believe
the Jets when Aaron Rodgers went down. I said his name.
And I said it last year too, as one of the guys that I would definitely look at grabbing if the Kenny Pickett era was in fact over. I was all about giving Sam Darnold a shot.
And he would have been a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and now you throw him in there with fucking Justin Jefferson,
AJ,
and Aaron
Jones,
who is basically what he said he was going to be, which is looking like he's going to have one of the better years of his career as long as he can stay healthy. And their defense doesn't look bad either. I mean, look what they did to San Francisco.
Sure. And I believe they get Hawkinson back this week.
After week 4.
Week? Okay. Oh, that's right. He went on IR, didn't he?
The pup list or whatever.
Yeah. The preseason pup.
So the big question then is, do they continue that momentum and get the big, what it has to be? Yeah, Houston's the 2-point favorite. Do they get the big upset, or not big upset, but do they get the upset at home and knock off, as Tom Grossi calls them, the Strouds?
It's going to be a tough contest. The only thing keeping, if you look at their ratings as far as, Houston's 11th overall offense, Vikings are 13th. Passing offense, Houston's 13, Minnesota's 8. Rushing, Minnesota's 15, Houston's 11. The only thing that's there is that Houston defense is much better than Minnesota. They get after the quarterback. They make plays on the ball. Sam Darnold's going to have to navigate that pass rush if he wants to put up the line like he did last week, 476 for 4 touchdowns. So.
You go first.
Houston. I think Minnesota slips this week. It's going to be close. It's going to be 31-35, 28-27. It's going to be who's got the ball with a minute to go. I really do.
Yeah. I think I'm going to ride with Houston as well on that, for all the reasons that you said.
Yeah. I got Minnesota surprisingly sneaking into the playoffs. That was one of my bolds is Sam Darnold takes them to the playoffs. But you're not going to win them all. And I think this is one that they're going to slip a little bit. They're going to still have a very positive after game talk. But I think they lose this one. Just a little.
All right. Save that one for at least the last noon game. Broncos, Buccaneers in Tampa. Really no reason to spend a lot of time on this. I see nothing that I saw last week, and I watched a lot of the Tampa game, and of course I watched all of the Denver game, and I see no reason why the Bucs lose this game at home to Bo Nix.
Not even close. And they get Rachaad White is healthy. It's going to be a bloodbath, as they say. Give me the Pirates at home.
Pirates play baseball, bro.
Same thing.
What up, Matt? Yeah. Again, I'm with you on the Bucs. I see nothing out of Denver that tells me that they're going to win that game, or many other games going forward. Moving on, we got the Panthers and the Raiders. I feel like I wasted time even mentioning.
There's there's something bad brewing in Carolina, and I don't know if it's a Bryce Young problem, if it's a coaching problem, but it
Wait a
stinks.
minute. Give me the Panthers.
No, I'm not going to let you do that.
The Red Rocket is starting.
So what?
You don't think he's going to do a better job of finding Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson?
Who? Adam Thielen? Is he bringing his walker to the game?
Dude, Adam Thielen was wide open multiple times in that game to the point where he threw his fucking helmet.
Well, sure. But no. I mean, will they be better? Yes. But win? Probably not. I mean, the Raiders aren't that great. So I'm not saying that, it's like the Panthers going up against, Kansas City or something like that.
You're not buying into the new quarterback inspiration. Like,
no, I think there's something deeper in that organization that is not, I don't know if it's their play calling or what. I mean, I haven't watched one of their games, but I've looked at their stats and I've, just seen the L's come across all the time. Something's up.
You know what? I'm fucking riding with it. I said it. My gut tells me, so I'm going to ride with it, and I'll probably go down with it. Jonathan, I'm not much of a gambler. I would have to get my cousin on, but I'll definitely take a look.
I'll rate one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Show us what you got. We'll give you our thoughts on it.
For sure.
Okay. Then I got to circle back. I got into the 3:00 games. I got ahead of myself. The final noon game. Probably, actually, let's take a look at Jonathan's parlay here.
Sure.
Murray over 33.5 rushing yards. Daniel Jones under 105 passing. Godwin over 39. Derrick Henry over 49. And Saquon over 49.
Well, you had me until Henry.
Yeah.
Saquon over 50 for sure. I mean, the dude's running all over the place right now. New Orleans is good, but 50 yards, yeah, for sure. Ayuk over 50?
Who are they playing again?
No.
The Rams.
That would be a questionable one for me. I mean, it's doable. I mean, he is the number one right now. And they're not playing terrible ball. But, and when, the Rams' defense is not very good. Yeah, man, that whole part, that line right there would scare me. I don't know. I would think he'd have to get 52, but man, I don't know. It would be close, and I could see where this would be a game where Daniel Jones could throw for over 200 yards and still lose. This is a game where Daniel Jones could throw over 250 yards and still lose.
Yeah, of all of those, the Daniel Jones one, 184, that's not a lot. Like it's pretty easy to Daniel Jones, he's mostly trash. Man,
it's tough. Is it
it's solid. I'll say that it's solid.
Like, is it like a risk $10 to win over 100 type of thing? Because that would be worth it.
Yeah. What's the odds on it? Like, what are you thinking about throwing down for how much ventured for how much gained? And Matthew, you're still around 10 for 100. I would throw $10 at that.
10 for 100. Oh yeah.
I would throw 10 at that.
10 at that.
I wouldn't put the paycheck down on it, but
No.
for $10, that's not a bad.
Yeah,
'Cause
especially
all
if
of
you
those,
had, especially if you had like a no risk, uh, no risk. Yeah, I'd eat that up all day for $10.
yeah, because they're all, you could literally make a case for
Yeah.
every single one of those.
Yep.
The Henry thing, the way Baltimore is, and after what happened to Dallas last week,
Dallas is gonna be mad.
they are, but it's still Derrick Henry, and for him to go over 50,
50 yards ain't bad.
yeah, I think Dallas does bounce back defensively, but I still think it's very, very possible that Derrick, because it's Baltimore, they're going to run the ball.
Yeah. And Daniel Jones threw for 178 and two TDs and no picks last game.
Murray over 33.5. That actually might be the scarier one to me, for the simple fact that they're playing Detroit, and it's at Detroit. They're going to be kind of pissed off. And I have a fun little stat for you. In the Dan Campbell era, they are 8-0 coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
So they're going to be fired up. And
But
they're going to be all over Kyler Murray. So that one might be tough. But they're all viable. Like, I wouldn't take that out again if it's only $10.
yeah, for $10,
Yeah, I would throw 10 at that all day.
100%, I'm doing it. Yeah, if you're talking big money type stuff, yeah, I would. I mean, Kyler Murray ran 5 times for 59 yards this last week against the Rams, but the Rams defense is terrible.
Yeah. And I get your point there because of what they allowed Baker, but at the same time, they're going to be getting a Detroit team that knows that they should have won that game. So they're going to be kind of pissed off. And Kyler is coming off a monster game. So maybe there's a little bit of a letdown. But again, it's not a bad bet. Like, there's nothing on that list that I say there's no way.
I'd give it a B+ for $10. I mean, if you're going $100 trying to get greedy with it, the rating drops tremendously. But for $10 to win 100, yeah, I might even log in and do that one myself.
Yep. As long as it's not the last $10 in your wallet, I would throw that bet down all day.
Yep. Yeah, you got a little extra cash in the old Venmo or something, or won a couple parlays from last week, I'd throw $10 at it.
Yep.
Easily.
All right, real quick, back to the picks. The last noon game, which I skipped over accidentally, of course, is probably, or at least one of the games of the week. The San Diego Chargers, who didn't go home.
It's the LA Chargers.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I still don't. Yeah.
LA
Chargers, who didn't go home after playing Carolina. Anytime, Jonathan, come back, check us out.
Yep. Appreciate you being here, bud.
They didn't go home after playing Carolina. They stayed on the East Coast, and they play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday at noon. So you've got the whole dynamic of
at home, right? No, yeah,
Pittsburgh's home opener. You got the dynamic of West Coast team playing an East Coast team, but
they didn't go nowhere.
They didn't go anywhere. But at the same time, are they going to be a little road weary? They've literally been in a hotel for over a week. I'm just saying, it's the mental game.
It's nice going home. It's nice being at your facility with your locker, your vending machine, your chair, your spot, your favorite restaurant you like to go to at night. Yeah, I mean, everything. It's going to be a tough game no matter if they went home or not.
Yeah.
It's
been a long time
there where they could be really good or they could not show up and be really bad.
Even if they're both really bad, it's gonna equal out and turn into a really good game, I think.
Sure.
Both of them play very similar, which is really weird even saying that the Chargers play similar to the Steelers. But that is the mindset that Harbaugh brings to this team. Obviously what he did in Michigan, what he did in San Francisco before that. He is a run the ball down it's like his brother. Run the ball down your throat, play good defense, don't make mistakes. And they'll have as many as 9 offensive linemen in the game at one time. There were actually a couple plays against the Panthers where all you saw was fucking linemen and tight ends.
Yeah, well, that's why they have the third best rushing offense in the league right now.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is having a hell of a
career year
revival right now. Hopefully, for their sake, he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and mine too. I made a really risky trade in my fantasy to get him and Isaiah Likely, and it needs to pan out. So,
Yeah.
But Justin Herbert is a big question mark. Is he going to play?
Well, I don't think there's any way he doesn't play unless it's all smoke and mirrors. He didn't participate in drills yesterday, but he was on the field throwing the ball. His ankle was heavily taped up. So you wonder if he does play, what's that going to do to his mobility?
And this game really comes down to who plays quarterback. If Herbert's out, it's Easton Stick or Tyler Heineke.
I think it's going to have. I don't know what their depth chart is, but just hearing those names, it's got to be Heineke, right?
Easton Stick was their number 2 last year.
I mean, I like our chances against either one of those two guys. But Herbert being who he is, if we are able to key on the run and slow them down, because Dobbins has had some success against Pittsburgh, but not a lot. But of course, that was a different system than the one that, brother Jim brings as opposed to John. And while we have been better against the run this year so far, this will be our best test. Atlanta is a solid running game with Bijan and everything. And we held him pretty much in check, but this is going to be a solid test. On the passing side, everybody is talking about and hyping up Joe Alt, their number 1 first-round pick, right tackle.
He's awesome.
He's been playing very well, and yes, he did a very good job against Max Crosby. And I'm not
taking him out of the game.
I'm not taking anything away from Max Crosby. He is a beast.
Yeah. But Joe Alt made him look elementary.
But TJ Watt is on a different level than Max Crosby.
He is.
And while I think he's going to do good,
if he shut out Max, he has a very good chance of shutting out TJ, or at least taking TJ's game-changing abilities out of the question.
I won't agree with that. I think he will definitely put up a hell of a fight. And no, TJ won't be the all-world game wrecker that he was against Atlanta.
Sure.
But I think TJ is going to get him at least once.
Yeah, and see, on the defense side of the ball, you can move around. You can stunt. You can play the other side.
Yeah.
So he can avoid Joe Alt, and I'm not, who's the defense coordinator for the Steelers? They can move him.
Carol Austin.
They can move him wherever they want.
Yeah, and I mean TJ goes up against like literally all pro tackles all the time,
right,
and gets the better of them. So he ain't like, they're not going to move him because, oh my God, this rookie is so awesome. That's not going to happen. I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good test for the Rook. But I still, hell, TJ, the only reason he only got 1 sack last week against a tackle that's kind of run of the mill, but they were chipping him, they were doubling him,
Yeah, and damn well Harbaugh knows all about TJ, and it's going to be focusing on that. He's got Joe by the ear saying, "Listen, boy, he ain't no joke."
Yeah, I think TJ is going to affect the game in that they're going to focus on him so much that we might see the other side,
right?
Highsmith and maybe even Nick Herbig come in and make some big plays. I look for Patrick Queen, who has been very quiet these first 2 weeks. I look for him to make an impact, especially with the kind of game that San Diego is bringing with the run game. I expect Queen to finally get his nose in there and really.
Yeah, he was one of them stops. Yeah, he was one of them silent heat-seeking missiles last year. I mean, that dude was, not talked about. I'm sure they would talk about them in film and stuff. They're a lot smarter than we are, and they focus on a lot. They got a lot more help in the film room. But nobody was talking to. He was good, sneaky good.
Well, he had Roquan Smith right next to him.
Yep.
Which is probably a little bit of an adjustment. While I love our linebackers being Peyton Wilson and Landon Roberts, they're no Roquan Smith.
No.
So it's kind of flip-flopped where now Patrick Queen is the focal point. But all of that being said, the health of Justin Herbert is going to play a huge role. And then back to Justin Fields. They opened up the offense a little bit for him last week, even though penalties kind of affected it. I think he's going to progress. With his legs, I don't worry as much about San Diego's pass rush, although it is very formidable with Nick Bosa and Khalil Mack. I'm sure they're going to get him at least a couple of times because it's Justin Fields. And while he has gotten better, he still holds on to the ball a little too long.
He's going to extend a play when he shouldn't. Once or twice too long and get got.
Yep. I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers here, but again, it's going to be almost like Steelers Ravens. We're going to go down to 17-13, 20-17, something like that. Who makes the big play with their defense is going to be the difference. And I give Pittsburgh the slight edge for A, being at home, and B, because San Diego has not been home. And as little of a detail as that is, I think come fourth quarter time, a little road weary, I think the big mistake might be made. And I'm going to predict that Boz is going to end it for us at the end with a field goal and give Pittsburgh the win.
Yeah, and I was just going to say I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last. And I think the Chargers sneak one out here. Again, last minute, 2-minute drill. Herbert's ankle ain't that bad. Going down, that running game of the Chargers is scary good. Scary good. So, let's test it here. Are they really that good? Because we're going to tell this week. Steelers have a great front.
And that's the thing is the Chargers, they've looked really good, but they've looked really good against the Panthers.
Yeah.
And who was the other team they beat? I think the first team that they beat was actually pretty solid.
The Jets, they played the Jets last week.
The Chargers?
Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was Tennessee. My bad. They played Cleveland.
Fuck was it? No. Whoever was the Raiders. They beat the Raiders 22-10. So they haven't done any world beating.
Right.
But on the same side of the ball, we played Atlanta, which is, I'll take Atlanta over the two teams that San Diego beat. And then we played Denver, which, doesn't look like they're going to be much. So again,
I think Denver can beat both those teams. I mean, the Raiders did beat Baltimore, so that's a eyebrow raiser. Okay, let's see. But yeah, I think the Chargers definitely had an easier schedule. But here's the test. Let's see it.
And the Chargers don't really have much in the way of receivers. And our secondary is very, very strong. So if we can slow that running game down and turn him completely one-dimensional, I like I said.
It's going to come down to, coaching as well. In my opinion, both coaches are really, really good.
Yeah.
I think Harbaugh is a better coach than Tomlin, my personal opinion. But you can argue that either way because Tomlin's really, really, really fucking good too. Really good. I would like to have either one on the Cowboys.
One of them has a ring, one of them does not.
Sure. But still, we all know, Jerry Jones has a bunch of rings too, but that don't mean shit.
Yeah. All right. So you're on the Chargers. I'm on the Steelers.
And
All right. Go
yeah,
ahead.
flip a coin.
Yeah. Should be a good game. Really excited for it.
Yep.
Dolphins led by Tua. Since last week we talked to you, IR, so he's gone at least 4 weeks. Just an absolute killer for you Tyreek Hill owners out there.
Jalen Waddle drafters.
Yeah. You go basically from expecting 20 to 30 points a week out of your receivers to now you're going to be lucky to get 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Which isn't horrible, but not when you're talking about a guy that's a top 5 pick.
Right. Here's a little asterisk for you all fantasy players. Watch for Juno Smith.
Who the fuck is Juno Smith? Jonnu Smith, their tight end. Yeah.
Jonnu Smith. There's nothing that a backup scared quarterback likes better than tight ends.
Dump off to the tight end. Yeah. So they're going to Seattle. Give me the Hawks.
Yeah, Hawks at home for sure. That 12-man, no joke.
Yep. All right, then we have the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Both teams coming off embarrassing losses, although kind of different, embarrassing in different ways, but
sure,
embarrassing nonetheless. I've already made up my mind on this game. I'll go ahead and let the Cowboy fan chime in with his take.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are 1-point favorites, as they should be probably. On paper, they have a better team. Dallas is known for getting beat at home. You know, it's hard to say that a Harbaugh-driven team with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews and, you know, is going to go 0-3. It really is. It's hard to say it. It's hard to say that the Cowboys are going to go 1-2 with the weapons they have at home, losing 2 home games in a row. So I don't know. I really don't know. The defense didn't show up. You know, they did that once last year in an embarrassing loss to the Lions, and they did the same thing this year to the Saints. Oh, man. That rushing game that we have, or lack thereof, is terrible. And Dak can't throw the ball every play. He just can't. So this one is hard. It's really hard. I have a blank spot on my paper, on my list here. I don't even have a team picked yet for that game.
Any chance we see Dalvin activated this week?
No. Nope. I haven't even heard any chirping of him being at practice.
How hot does McCarthy's seat get if they drop this game?
It's hot now.
Right.
Yeah. If they drop this one, 2 home games in a row, especially if they get beat big again, I don't think it's a mid-season removal, but I definitely think we have a conversation of who's going to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year.
So your pick is?
A tie? Oh, man. Well, you know what? You went with Green Bay when you probably shouldn't have. I'm going to go with Dallas because I shouldn't have, because I shouldn't. And I don't even know why. I'm not even going to say why. I don't know why. Because there's no way Baltimore is going to go 0-3, but at the same time, they just got beat by the Raiders.
Last year, Dallas was actually really good at home and absolute dog shit on the road.
Yeah, but they lose at home more than a lot of other teams.
The Ravens' offensive line is not what it once was.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. They got ran all over last week.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, we have the running backs to do it, you know, because that Zamir White, whatever his name is, is a rookie.
A lot of what I'm about to say is based in hope, but I'm going to ride with you and take Dallas. I think that both teams, both teams got to come in with a little bit of chip on their shoulder, but I like the fact that I don't know. I think Micah Parsons is going to be the difference here. I think he's going to make some kind of game-changing play, and I think they'll struggle a little bit to stop the run, but everything that I've seen out of Baltimore, like that, this ain't the Ravens that a lot of people expected.
No, it's not. And and Dallas gets Ferguson back this week. That's a huge part of our offense there. Our defense ain't hurt. We didn't lose anybody really. But, what the hell? Are the Saints really just that good? Because that could be a thing. That could really be a thing. The Saints are just really that good. You better expect them to put 35-plus points up a game and just trample people. And then this is a completely different kind. This is week 8 or 9, and Dallas just got throttled by the undefeated Saints. This would be different. I'd be having Dallas Cowboys all day long over the Ravens.
Right.
But it's week 3. I have no fucking clue. I hope so.
Well, go Cowboys.
I hope the Saints are just that good and Dallas really isn't that bad and we can come in and beat the Ravens. But stat-wise, Dallas is right in the middle on offense, right in the middle on defense, right in the middle on passing, rushing, everything. It's their game to lose. If they lose, it's because, they pulled a Dallas Cowboys. They did it to themselves.
Yep.
But, yeah, go boys.
I'm with you.
Put your fucking pants on and do the fucking job.
All right. 5 games left. We have the 49ers taking on the Rams in fucking the injury bowl, I guess. Deebo Samuel out, Cooper Kupp out, Puka Nacua out. Who is Christian McCaffrey out?
Yep. Yep. I've got this one picked.
I'm gonna say the Niners bounce back in a game that's probably going to be a little bit ugly on both sides, but I think the Niners have more talent available to them than the Rams do.
Yeah, I don't. I predicted the Niners to shit this year. I didn't expect all these injuries with their big name players. That's not what I expected at all. I expected Purdy to have a Purdy shitty year. And the Rams are going to win this game because they have Matt Stafford. The Rams are going to win this game because they have a better running game than the Niners. Yes, I know Mason is doing great. But
I will say last season when the 49ers played the Browns, it was a game that was significant because Deebo and C-Mac were out.
Yep.
And the Browns won that game. However, also out in that game was Trent Williams. He is not out. Nope. So I think it's going to be a little bit sloppy and a close game because of the aforementioned Matt Stafford. But Matt Stafford, even with a decent running game, missing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, while they have a couple of young guys in that receiving core and Tyler Johnson, and I can't think of the other dude's name. But I like the 49ers defense more than I like the Rams offense. So I'm going to take the Niners here.
Yeah, and those are all valid points. The Rams have played Detroit at Detroit, Arizona in Arizona. They lost by 6 to Detroit in overtime. They got throttled by Arizona, which I think is a fluke. I really do. So you've played so far, stat-wise, two of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
On the road. Now you're going home. Yeah, you lost your number one, number two receiver. Your backups aren't bad. They've put up numbers for you, but Matt Stafford doesn't care who he's thrown it to.
Agreed. I love Stafford.
He's Matt fucking Stafford. This game, I'm not going to say it's going to be embarrassing, but it's going to be different. And it's either I'm hoping it's going to be Rams by double digits over the Niners. That's what I really see that. I think it's going to be that way.
All
but
right.
it could also go the other way, and the Rams really could just be trash.
We're going to find out.
We are going to find out. But give me the Rams at home. Matt Stafford, you better do your job.
Moving on, we have the Detroit Lions traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals, who were a juggernaut last week. Lions, like I said, on paper played really well, especially defensively.
Yeah.
But just couldn't get over the hump with Tampa Bay. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, Dan Campbell's teams are undefeated coming off of a loss.
Yep.
Even though it's in Arizona, I think that what we saw Arizona do last week was a bit of an aberration. While I think it's going to be a competitive game,
yep.
I'm taking the Lions here for the big bounce back.
Yeah, give me a Dan Campbell off a loss game any day. Detroit going into Arizona and bringing Arizona back to earth.
All right, both agree on that. Then we got the Sunday night game. We got the Chiefs traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Chiefs did not look good despite coming away with the victory against Cincinnati. The Falcons struggled early but bounced back big late to get the win against Philadelphia. Kansas City is the 3-point favorite. Obviously, Pacheco is out. Hunt is not going to be ready yet. So we're going to be seeing what Samaje Perine.
Carson Steele probably will start, but it'll be the hot hand.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce's looked like Taylor Swift on the football field.
Yeah. Haven't seen.
But Rashee Rice is still a stud. I tried to trade for him today, and I was told to kick rocks.
Upset of the week. Give me the Falcons.
You know what? I wrote it down. I crossed off KC as we were talking about the last game because all that game just started piling in my head about the same stuff. Give me Atlanta at home. Kirk Cousins look good.
Kirk O'Chains broke the primetime curse.
He's got another one this week.
Yep.
And offense looks like it's clicking.
And like I said, Chiefs looked out of sorts last week. So, give me the Falcons, which obviously means that Kansas City is going to score 75.
Right. Yeah.
Monday, we got a double header. How about it? Jaguars traveling to Buffalo. Jags 0-2. I can't see Jacksonville beating Buffalo in Buffalo. If this was in Jacksonville, maybe they get off the schneid here, but I cannot see them beating Buffalo at home on a Monday night. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, and it's not even cold out. That gives Jacksonville a little bit of an edge. If it was cold and they're at home, yeah, Buffalo by a mile. Right now it's Buffalo by 3/4 of a mile for me. 100% going to win that game. I don't care if Buffalo ain't got they got a worthless wide receivers right now. Terrible. But they're still finding ways to win games. It's Josh fucking Allen. So
yeah. Finally, the last game of the week, the second Monday nighter, we have the Washington Commanders led by rookie Jaden Daniels taking on Joe Burrow and the Bengals in Cincinnati. T. Higgins looks like he may be available this week, which would finally give Burrow his tandem of Higgins and Jamar Chase, even though neither one of them are happy with their contracts.
Right.
If they're on the field, they're formidable. They definitely played better beginning to end than the Chiefs did, despite the fact they came away with the loss. Yeah, I got the Bengals at home here. As much as I don't want them to win, I can't.
This is tough. It really is. I don't. I'm the kind of in the same boat. As much as I don't want Washington to win, that would give them especially if Dallas loses, to give them an edge over Dallas in the division. I don't like what I see in Cincy. I see a T. Higgins coming off an injury. He's going to take a little bit of looks from Jamar Chase, but at the same time, defenses might still double team Chase and make the injured, returnee do his job. I don't know. The backfield's wishy-washy with the tandem backfield back there. You're losing Joe Mixon. You ain't got a solid 3-down back. I don't know. I really don't, but I'll give it to the home team just because they're at home, and that's the only reason.
All right, and I counted up the games. We actually skipped a game and didn't
New Orleans, Philly.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
Eagles traveling to New Orleans. Whew. Eagles coming off of a heartbreaker to the Falcons. Saints, obviously, we know what they're coming off of. Just 2 weeks of being juggernauts.
Yep.
Oh man.
I think it continues. I don't think they put up 40. But at home, their fans are going to be fired up after that big win on the road against Dallas, who, if anybody knows the Dallas Saints rivalry, it's there. Everybody down there, you're either a Dallas fan or a Saints fan, and you hate each other. So that's a huge win for New Orleans.
Yeah. Again, with what they've been able to do offensively the last 2 weeks, it's really difficult to justify picking the Eagles here. So I'm going to take the Saints.
Yep, me too.
All right. Well, to summarize here, we are both agreeing that the Browns, Colts, Texans, Buccaneers, Saints, Seahawks, Cowboys, Lions, Falcons, Bills, Bengals, all going to be winners. And then I'm taking the Packers. He's taking the Titans. I'm taking the Panthers. Can't believe I'm still saying that out loud. He's taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Steelers. He's taking the Chargers. I'm taking the 49ers, and he is taking the Rams. And that is going to wrap it up for the picks and going to wrap it up for our show this week. I know Bubba here's got to get himself to a football game.
Yep. Yeah, I coached the little snot-nosed turds, 5th and 6th grade kids, and they every year they have us go to one of the high school games, home games, and they bring us out on the field and introduce us, and so the kids get to wave and get their name called over the loudspeaker and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I get to go put on my blue and gold and go represent Mercer County schools up here in Aledo. So
right on. I actually, depending on how the day goes, I might jump on Sunday for a little post-game Steeler talk and obviously talk about the rest of the league as well.
Yep.
Shout out to the boys over at the Steel City Renegades. They do a great show, and hopefully I'll be on there here one of these days. So, yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, we will be back sometime next week. Before the weekend, just kind of depends on our schedules, but we appreciate you all watching. Go Steelers, go Cowboys for sure.
Yep.
We'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
Peace.